Hello Home Slices, it's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting, coming to you super vlog style to talk about this big cross-country move that I am making very shortly. Now, I told you guys that I would include you and do my first vlog series regarding my move from Louisiana to Washington State. It's about 25 or 2,600 miles. And it'll take us about 3 days to get there by car. And there are a lot of things that are stressful to people, but I can't think of anything that I've ever done that was as stressful as moving, let alone moving 2,500 miles away. Y'all, this has been the most annoying thing that has ever happened to me. And the problem is, one of my bigger issues is that I'm kind of like a chronic procrastinator, and we didn't start getting our stuff together to begin, moving until probably 2 weeks before the move. Now, I'm just here to give you guys, some tips on what I have learned about making any move at all, let alone such a big move, and making sure that you're not as stressed out as I am. So tip number one, of course, is to get started early. For those of us who like making to-do lists and calendars and things along those lines, create a calendar of things that you can do to start preparing yourself for the move. For instance, we live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and for those of you who have multiple bedrooms, a part of your calendar can be, one day we're going to go through the kitchen and we're going to see, if we're able to sell anything in the kitchen. If you want to try and raise some money, we can see if we're going to donate or give away any of the items in our kitchen because we will not need them once we get to our new place, or we want to buy new stuff when we get to our new place. And you pick one day to do the kitchen, you pick another day to do the bathroom, you pick another day to have everything moved out of one of the bedrooms so that you can gradually and progressively, get yourself ready for this move. Another thing with time management is, don't let the date sneak up on you, because we knew for a long time the exact date that we were moving. We knew when our lease was over, we knew when our new lease at our new place would start, and we knew that there would be 3 days in between that we would have to drive and travel. And we just kind of kicked it because we I guess felt like we had time, and it just kind of snuck up on us. And I mean, it doesn't make sense that it snuck up on us, because like I said, we knew for a while when all these deadlines and things were coming up. It's just that we we're not as proactive as we should have been when it came to getting everything done. So if you find yourself rushing and going through things, you realize that it doesn't really work out for you. So for instance, we realized that because we only had about 2 weeks left to get everything done, that we had to hurry up and put together advertisements and things for a garage sale. Now, for those of you who are interested in doing a garage sale, getting rid of a bunch of stuff that you don't need to raise money for moving expenses and whatnot, it's a good idea. But if you are living in an apartment, it's probably not a good idea, because typically apartment complexes have rules against that type of thing. We had several run-ins with the management who were not happy about us holding a garage sale. There were several complaints from our neighbors in the same apartment complex that were upset that we, went around to our neighbors announcing that we had a garage sale. I guess they consider that soliciting. Which, I mean, we didn't say, hey, we have a couch, come and buy it. We just said, hey, we're having a garage sale if you want to come by. And we did have some neighbors that stopped by. It would be preferable for our neighbors to come and check out the garage sale so that they don't have to move the stuff very far. But whatever, there's some people that just don't like things like that. And I did not feel I did not feel comfortable with the level of fiasco-ness that was going on surrounding the garage sale. I mean, eventually we sold about $1,700 worth of stuff, which is great. You know, some of the stuff was big stuff. Some of the stuff, the garage sale brought in people who were able to take very large items off of our hands. Oh, let me tell y'all something. If you need to get rid of large items like mattresses and sofas and things along those lines, try as soon as possible to get with whoever you need to get with regarding the proper disposal of those types of items, because we went around in circles between the city and waste management and all those different type of people trying to figure out what was the appropriate thing to do with our couch and our love seat. We called waste management, and waste management said that they couldn't pick anything up that was more than 30 pounds, so that didn't work out for us. So the garage sale brought in people who were able to see the couches, and basically we said, if you can haul it, it's yours. And you know, they were free. And you know, the good thing about it is that not only were we able to get rid of some items that we didn't know how we were going to dispose of, we were able to help people who maybe, you know, weren't able to, you know, afford a couch and a love seat and a mattress. So we were able to get rid of a lot of things, and the things that we did not get rid of, we donated to the junk man up the street. So also, that's another thing. You have to have a game plan for the things that you want to dispose of, but we're not able to sell or find, you know, anybody to give those items to. So those items that we were not able to sell at the end of the day went to the junk man up the street. And pretty much everybody knows a junk man somewhere where you can, you know, just drop off your stuff. I think some of them will give you documents saying that you donated, maybe. You know, there are places like Goodwill that you can donate your stuff to, and depending on I guess what your location is, you can call Goodwill and they can actually arrange to have a truck pick up the items that you are donating, particularly if those items are oversized and, you know, can't fit in a car or whatever. So you know, consider everything when you're doing a garage sale, when you're selling your items. You know, an alternative to doing a garage sale is to post things on Craigslist or eBay, but those things need to be done like kind of in advance. To make things easier on yourself, I don't know if it will be easier, but like you can do one Craigslist post with pictures of all of the things that you are selling, and just make a list in the Craigslist posts of all the items that you're selling, and that'll make it a little easier to instead of doing a Craigslist post for every, you know, single item or whatever. But I guess another item of advice is to make sure that all of your utilities and everything get cut off and to the right place. So right now I'm actually on my way to the UPS store to return all of my equipment for the cable and internet. So they're gonna ship it back to the provider and give me a tracking number, and you know, that'll be that. But that's something that you need to budget in your time for, is that you may, because we live in a small town and the closest UPS store is about 30 minutes away. So budget your time so that while you're out and about, if you have to go to a UPS store that's not necessarily close, what else can you get done in that area? Like for instance, the UPS store is close to a Walmart, and I need to stop by Walmart and see if they can reserve us some moving boxes. And that's another thing that we kind of did not do in advance, was gather boxes from local businesses nearby. We only started asking about boxes of probably yesterday, and you know, a lot of places have, you know, shipments and trucks that come in with their products or whatever, and they have boxes that they will give away for free, but you have to get them on the right day. So make sure, probably like 10 days to a week in advance or whatever, call local businesses around and see what days they get their shipments in, and if they'll hold boxes for you, if they can give you a time when you best can come pick up items or whatever. Be sure to do that. Stock up on tape. That's another thing. It comes in very handy. One thing that I've never seen an apartment complex do, but it would be interesting if it'll work for you or whatever, is that our apartment complex keeps stock of the paint that's in the apartments. And when you move out, they want you to bring a Tupperware bowl or Tupperware container so that they can give you the paint so that you can do little touch-ups. So my boyfriend is or was the manager at a like mechanic shop, and he always had very greasy fingers, and so our house, all on our walls, everywhere that he touched on the walls, on the you know, the light switches, everywhere, they all had little greasy black, you know, fingerprints on the walls. And so when we tried to remove them with some magic eraser, some of the paint had kind of come off a little bit. So we're gonna be able to touch that up because we got paint from the management. So I thought that was an interesting idea. It stops them from having to actually hire somebody to do the painting. So that was pretty cool. But moving on, I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you guys. You know, I'm out running errands right now. I gotta go pick up some more dog food for the dog. Oh, also, if you're moving to a new state, you gotta check into how your insurance and things are going to be affected. Because right now I don't have a job set up in the place that I'm actually moving to. So the insurance that I have is for the Louisiana area. And so your health insurance, your business insurance is all like on a state-by-state basis. And if you're moving to a different state, you have to see how that's going to work out for you. Does your provider provide insurance in the new state that you're moving to? How is your coverage impacted? How are your premiums impacted? All that kind of stuff. So you that includes car insurance. My car insurance is actually going to go down, thank you Jesus, now that I'm moving to Washington, because people in Louisiana don't have insurance, which means those of us who do have insurance have to pay pretty high premiums. But moving on, make sure you check into all that stuff. In addition to that, make sure that while you still have your insurance, your current insurance provider, that you get checkups for yourself. I went and got my vision checked yesterday because I have to find a new vision doctor or whatever once I move to Washington. We also went and got our dog checked out. Our dog is going to be traveling with us. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but he is going to be traveling with us. So we got him a little appointment and got him, you know, set up and straight and make sure that he had a clean bill of health before we traveled. Also, traveling with pets, y'all, I can't give y'all too much advice on that right now. It's just that we wanted to get him a hard crate, but we have a big dog that uses up a lot of space, and his crate would have used up even more space. So we got a soft crate from Walmart that's like 36 inches or whatever, and even that takes up a lot of space. But the difference is that a hard crate isn't malleable or anything. Like, we can put something next to this soft crate. It'll keep him restricted to the crate, and he'll be, you know, inside of it instead of trying to hop all over the car like he usually is. So we bought that for, might have been like $27. It was either $27 or $35. I don't know why those two numbers are sticking out to me, but we were able to get him something that would contain him, and we practice with it. If your dog is not used to long hauls or whatever, we bought it, and then we did a like 2.5 hour road trip to go visit my boyfriend's family, and he didn't do too bad. He didn't do too bad inside of the crate, but he did not do that good. So we did get him some travel anxiety medicine. They are drops that we can give him to help him not have the type of, anxiety or anxious symptoms that dogs sometimes have with traveling. It'll help calm him down a little bit without sedating him. So that's good. What else? If your road trip has multiple days, you have to figure out how your road trip is going to go, where you're going to stop. If you're traveling with a pet, you got to make sure the hotel is pet friendly. So one of the suggestions that I'll make, and they are not sponsoring this video, there's a website called Furkot. That's FURKOT.com. And if you tell them how long you want to drive every day, you tell them your beginning and your end, they will map out this plan for you that'll show you on a full map. It'll tell you how long and what time you're going to get to your destination. It's going to tell you where you need to stop, and what area you'll need to get a hotel in. They can have the hotels filtered by if they're pet friendly or not, or if you what type of accommodations you're looking for. It's a very useful website. So for those of you who are doing a very long road trip, whether you're moving or not, it could be useful to you. I just want to say that I am totally 100% stressed out by this move. I haven't done anything in my life that is as stressful as this is. This is very quite frustrating for me a little bit. I mean, our plans were, that's another thing. Whenever you are making your plans, if you have to take multiple days to get to your destination, kind of work some wiggle room into that scenario. For instance, we want to leave tomorrow, but because of how things are going with us packing and having to paint, it may be that we have to kind of push it back a little bit and maybe cut down our driving time. But the good thing about it is we've already built in a cushion where we can do that.